All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Y'all Don't Even Know Show. This is episode 37. Tito's here, Cale's here, Narv is here. We don't have any video tonight, but y'all can sit and listen to this. Narv, I'll swing to you and let's get after it.
All right, so today is Good Friday, and obviously most of you know that that is the day that Jesus was crucified and died on the cross. So, as of right now at 6:40 p.m., he would have been dead for 3 hours and 40 minutes and probably close to being laid in the tomb, if not already in the tomb at this point.
Because he had to been in a tomb by sunset, right?
Yes, by sundown. He was placed there by Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus. And that's just a general reminder of Good Friday.
It's something that hit me today was, you know how bleak and sad it would be for all of Jesus's friends and like all the people that believed in him, how bleak it was. Like they didn't know he was going to rise again. Like he was dead. He was gone. Where was their hope?
Yeah, because I guess he never actually told anyone, hey, I'm coming back in 3 days.
I think he
multiple.
told the disciples.
The disciples were told, but their eyes were closed, so that they didn't know.
Right, they didn't understand.
Right. He made sure that they didn't actually understand it.
Peter gave his all, slicing off ears, trying to save him.
You know, what's funny to me about that is that the three Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke are all like, one of Jesus' disciples drew his sword and cut off their ear, and then John's like, Peter? This guy.
John was casting names out there.
Is John also the only one with the account of him denying Jesus? Because that would be funny, too.
No.
Okay. John's just like this Peter guy.
John's
you
like,
would not believe.
We are telling the whole story here.
John's a hater.
I was like, I had to deal with him so many times. Anyway, Narv.
All right, so something that last year at this time we covered the Shroud of Turin. A lot more information has come out about the Shroud of Turin since a year ago. So, for anyone that doesn't know, the Shroud is what they laid. It was Jesus's garments that they laid him in the tomb. And it came out recently, I guess, with technology that you could actually see an imprint of Jesus' face and body on these garments. So, the new information that I have is, at the moment of resurrection, scientists have estimated that 34 billion watts of energy traveled through that shroud at 1/40th billion of a second. And they believe the energy that it created also helped roll the stone away from in front of the grave. On top of that, they also could count 372 whip marks on his body from the lashings that he received before he carried the cross to Golgotha. But the what they're saying with that energy is that was him coming back to life and the glory, the light of his glory hitting it. But also, he didn't like stand up and take the clothes off. When he came back to life, his body just kind of left them. And that's why they were found just laying there, like undisturbed, like his body just kind of left it.
You think there was like a boom, or it was just light and energy?
Well, I'd imagine with energy there would be sound from it too.
Well, I didn't know if it was like
And fast sound creates.
Well,
I didn't know if it was like actual like energy, like physical energy, or just like spiritual energy. Like,
I
I don't know, speed of light or something is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Isn't there in one of the accounts that the guards were fallen down as dead men?
Yes.
Yes.
So if there was like what would be considered like a sonic boom type idea, that blast of energy would knock a human out for a while.
Well, what does it say in the Bible about the stone being rolled away?
Really just says the stone was rolled away.
And in the one account, it said there was an angel sitting on it.
So I think for a while everyone just kind of assumed the angel rolled the stone away.
But when people say that the stone was rolled away, they think it was rolled off to the side, like the classic depiction. But that could easily mean the stone was literally blasted off of the hole,
right,
and
that's-
rolled away.
That's a very good
how
point.
I'm taking it.
That
based off
is-
this new.
right.
That makes the most sense
Findings.
because no one's gonna just roll the stone off to the side like the traditional images. Like an actual blast where it would actually explode would make so much sense.
Right, and then usually they were sealed, like shut, and it wouldn't. To have the stone just rolled away, it wouldn't make sense for an angel to be sitting like on the top of it. It just like everything we were taught and as it was portrayed, it kind of just it like looks weird. But if it's like blasted on the side, it would make more sense. Like,
And also in the one account, it says that that Peter went to the tomb and stooped down to look inside. Oh wait, was it John? John stooped down and looked inside the tomb. So the opening wasn't massive, 8 foot tall, 5 feet wide like it's depicted.
right, it was probably like a 5 foot
Yeah,
No,
it's
something.
When they show like diagrams of what the tomb looks like, there's steps that go down into it. It's underground.
right. It's not like it's not elaborate, but it's also the opening wasn't massive either.
So through going back through calendars and figuring out like when sunrise would have been on, I think what is. Hang on. April 5th would have been like 5:23 a.m. or something like that. The women were trying to get there before sunrise so they could complete the washing of the body. I don't know how they expected to get in.
Well, they were going to ask the soldiers to roll it away for them.
Okay. So, by 5:23 in the morning, he was already resurrected and gone. So, was this like a midnight hit on the 5th day, or the 3rd day, and it just, he was back? Or, what do you think there?
I don't know. I don't think time is relevant.
It was Sunday morning, right?
Yes.
Saturday morning, Friday morning. Does that mean he would have had to have been crucified Thursday?
Wait,
If it was a morning resurrection,
Like late Thursday?
like Thursday afternoon, and then he would have been in the tomb Friday morning, Saturday morning, and then up on Sunday morning. Is Good Friday a false holiday?
No,
Not holiday,
because
not false, but like, is it the wrong day?
so this year, it falls exactly on the days that they believe to have been the crucifixion and the resurrection.
What I'm saying is that if he would have been crucified on Friday, like actually crucified on Friday, he'd only been in the grave for 2 days.
He does have a point.
Yeah, no.
He does.
Because then that would have put him late Sunday.
Right.
So it would have had to have been Thursday.
He would have had to have been crucified on Thursday if he resurrected on Sunday.
But if he
Like Sunday morning.
Does it though? Because he was crucified on the 3rd. He was dead for not half of Friday, but some of Friday and Saturday. I don't know. So doesn't that up? Because they say the 3rd to the 5th. They count the 3rd, they count the 4th, and they count the 5th. I don't know.
Because he wasn't crucified Friday morning. Well, it started Friday morning because the sun was black from like midday till like 3 o'clock or something.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe it was Friday morning that he got crucified. But like I'm saying, like Sunday doesn't count as a day because.
Well, here's a thought: were there days and times different back then as compared?
Yeah, because
it would have to be
because their next day started at sundown, and their current day ended at sundown.
According to this, it says Jesus rose early on the first day of the week, Sunday, which was the 3rd day in first century Jewish inclusive timekeeping. Friday, day 1, includes his death and burial before sunset. Saturday, day 2, is the Sabbath, and Sunday, day 3, is the resurrection.
Oh, so they're counting Friday as a whole day.
So, yeah. Okay, that makes some.
I guess that
sense.
makes better sense.
Because if it was
any part of a day was counted as a full day according to the Jewish culture.
Okay,
that
helps. Did you see on the shroud that they actually say that with the whipping he was blinded in an eye?
I did not see that.
I'm not surprised.
It would be highly believable.
I mean, plus the crown of thorns stabbing into him, like.
They didn't remove the crown of thorns when they put him in there either. You can see that on the. You can still see the crown of thorns.
Imagine trying to remove that.
Bro, they actually say
they pushed it onto his head, like embedded it. There's no way they're pulling that
as
off.
far as they can tell, the crown of thorns wasn't like this.
Placed.
It was like
a helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's so painful.
I think generally what people think he went through is not even close to what he actually went through.
Right. People just think they threw him on a cross and that was the end of it. I also saw that.
Well, no, it's just like place crown of thorns, couple whiplash, whips here, but no, he probably had no skin on his back at all.
Mm.
I said you could see.
He probably looked like a dead man.
There are accounts that say he didn't look like a person. You couldn't distinguish him as a person.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even the hardest part of it.
And that's 100,000% why he could not carry that part of the cross up the hill, because he had nothing left.
It was a miracle he was still alive by the time he was hung on the cross. When it comes to hanging on the cross, people think that his feet were, like the tops of his feet were what did it. But their feet were on the sides of the cross, and it went like between their like Achilles tendon and their ankle bone.
Yep.
Which is actually even worse than how it's always depicted. I think anyways.
The Romans had a very efficient way of killing people.
And
brutally.
Keeping people in order.
Do you think...
Imagine seeing that. You're like, yeah, I'm not committing any crimes today.
Do you think God kept him alive intentionally? Like, he would not let him die until he finished it?
Like, if we're being specific about the Trinity, I think Jesus stayed alive for it, not... Because it said, no man taketh my life. So I think Jesus specifically stayed alive to be on the cross, to endure the full.
So you think he had the power to keep himself alive?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think so. I mean, he was all God, all human.
Right, well, he was all God. He's still every single thing he felt. Because he was all human.
Here's a thought. You guys know how, like, when you sin, you get that shame, you get that guilt inside you. Can you imagine being him and having the entire world's sin placed on you all at once? And knowing it was so bad that God couldn't even look at him anymore?
He couldn't even be with them anymore.
Yeah. Can't imagine what that'd feel like.
Kind of going along those lines, I've been doing a lot of almost like thinking about that kind of idea in a while. And like God is I guess we could call him like a fourth dimensional being. Like time doesn't really exist to him. Because of that, that means he is in the future, the past, and the present. So does that mean that God is constantly reliving that day? He's constantly in that day. I'm not sure how that works, but like if that is kind of the way it is, he is always there forever now. Like that feeling is always in him.
I never really even thought of that, but it's a good point. Like maybe he still, like when we sin,
That's the
He
basis of his
still-
forgiveness.
he still feels that, the pain, the agony. But I don't know. Can he still feel that pain?
I think
That's a good
he
question.
Probably would feel that pain until after the tribulation.
Well, it's not like God ceases to be in the past, the present, and the future.
No. But like when the tribulation, after the tribulation and the 1,000-year reign and all that proceed, it's kind of wrapped up then.
Does he relinquish the earth?
I don't know. I've heard theories that the earth is heaven then. I don't think he relinquishes it.
No, I'm saying like all of the... Does he like step away from all that time? Like obviously this is an impossible question to answer.
It's just,
You mean stepping away for the tribulation?
No, like after it, like once the Earth's story is done.
I think maybe because once the tribulation happens and the devil's thrown in the lake of fire, everything's finished. Like retribution has happened. Everything's perfect again.
I have a question for you guys. It goes along with like the whole new Earth stuff. And Dad posed this question to us years ago, and I always thought about it. But since God has no beginning, which obviously we can't wrap our minds around, but he has no beginning, why at that specific time did he all of a sudden decide to create the Earth?
because he wanted to share.
I mean,
I
obviously,
get that.
Obviously, the answer is it was the perfect time, but no one knows exactly.
That's a perfect question to ask when you get to heaven.
So that gets me thinking, well, was there other Earths?
I've thought about that too.
I'm not saying like at this time, I mean like past.
Eternity
Future.
past.
I said this to these guys, 2 weeks ago I think it was now. You literally cannot wrap your mind around how God exists. You just know he does. And I hope when we get to heaven we're allowed to ask questions, because I want to know, how do you exist? Like, you're God, you created everything.
Right, like what is the...
Who created you? How did you come to be? What are you?
Dude, there's just so much as humans we don't understand. It's unbelievable.
He controls everything. He made everything you see. Not everything, but because, we have the ability to make things. But they're not perfect like he made them. He made the entire earth. He made the moon. He made the ocean. He made it all. and he just spoke it into existence. So, like, it's just, it blows my mind.
It gets to a point as a Christian where you can't, like, you question, but you can't think about it too much or your brain will literally hurt.
Yeah. And you can't question it because there's proof everywhere.
I think when we get to heaven, we'd love to ask questions to him, but it's going to be more of like him being like, yeah, I'll ask the questions about your life.
Well,
that's only the beginning.
yeah, that's
You
everybody.
have an eternity,
Everybody gives
which you can't comprehend either.
I was going to say, what is eternity? Forever? Yes.
Forever.
What do you do in forever? What do you do in eternity?
The biggest thing you want to not do in eternity is end up in hell.
You know what's cool about that? Well, I think about eternity is like Grammy and Pappy, they don't even realize, Pappy doesn't realize he's been gone for 2 years or 4 or whatever. I don't even remember. 3 years. And Grammy doesn't realize she's been gone for a couple months. They've just always been there. Which is kind of cool.
Well, they haven't just always been there. You wouldn't like.
Yeah, but time in heaven is nothing.
True.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I get it.
What does it say? Like 1 day is 1,000 years or something like that?
Yeah.
Which brings up a good question I thought of, which is there is time because after the devil gets cast into hell, he's going to be loosed after 1,000 years. So, like...
So is that just a day?
Yeah.
I think that verse is more saying that you can't distinguish the days necessarily. Obviously, our days are determined by the sun going around the earth, and the light source in heaven is literally God.
So you're saying it just all runs together. So there's like, right, there's technically no
And
day.
There's no day. There's no 24-hour period in heaven, which is what I think that means, is that there's no actual day per se. And obviously God isn't constrained by time, and heaven doesn't need to operate on a 24-hour, the way we determine it, basis. A day in heaven could be 1,000 years on earth. 1,000 years on earth could be a day in heaven. We don't know.
It's tough to talk about because you don't know. There's no anything. It's just stuff to throw out there. Going back to that, I think people who died do remember their life on earth. Because why else would this be happening if God would just be like, eh.
Well, they have to remember to give an account of it.
Right. But I think the soul is just the memory box. I don't know what term, but for everything. That's literally you. Your soul is you, and that exists forever.
So when there's a new heaven and a new earth, are we still going to remember the old earth? And memories from that? I would think not.
Then what is all this for?
I would think you would remember the old earth and you would see the new earth and you would praise God for
Yes.
how amazing the new earth is.
And there is a
That
point.
makes sense.
The only thing I would have to say to that is there's a point where God wipes away all tears. So, like, there's no more crying in heaven.
Do you think there's crying in heaven now?
Yes.
Why?
Because God hasn't wiped away all tears yet.
Yeah, but why would somebody in heaven cry?
When somebody who isn't saved that they really loved on this earth dies and goes to hell, I would absolutely cry over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after God
That-
does that, that's just the finish of everything.
Exactly.
So there's nothing really to cry about.
And everyone has already been judged at that
Right.
point.
Maybe it's less about wiping away tears, but more of it's finished. Like everything has been closed on that book.
I like that thought.
Do you think he tries again? Like, well,
I can see him having another Earth. I can see him doing it again.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
And I can see it of having happened before.
like maybe
But does Jesus... Does he get a new body then for the next Earth if they sin?
I don't know.
Does God change up the salvation method on that next Earth?
I don't think
Obviously not, because the way he did it was perfect.
it's the same. I believe Jesus has not perfect. Like, I believe he still has the scars. Like, I think when we get to heaven, we'll see the scars.
Well, yeah, that's in the Bible that he's still scarred.
But like, he's not. I believe he's not beat up anymore.
Oh, his body is healed, but it's still scarred. But what I'm saying is, like, if there is another Earth after this in the future,
Hang on.
does Jesus' body come to that Earth scarred?
Well, doesn't the Bible say that we'll reign with Jesus forever? Then,
Correct. Yeah.
so say he does have another Earth, and the humans sin again. There will have to be some part of Jesus with us in heaven then. So, if it's just like copy and paste, then Jesus is going to come through the virgin birth again, and he's going to be a baby, and babies don't come out with scars.
Yeah, but think about it. After his work is complete and he's back in heaven again, do we see him as one way and then those people see him as another way? Are his scars different?
It's possible. I think they can do whatever they want.
I guess
So-
I get. Oh, are you gonna change the subject?
No. I'm staying here, but so you said he wanted to try again.
No, I would
Try again for like another perfect Earth. If heaven's I don't understand.
That's kind of what I was gonna do. Like, God set everything up perfectly. If he set it up all perfect, the same thing's gonna happen again, because it doesn't get better, and he's not gonna make it worse.
Right, it's gonna be the same thing.
It's gonna be the
It would
same
be a
thing.
literal
It would be
replay.
an exact replay.
Right, because he believes in free will.
But that's my next thing. Like, there's free will, so
Well, who's to
would
say
those people fail?
That's what I'm saying.
Would they choose to fail? I don't know. But also, God created everything because he wanted to fellowship with the creation. He wanted something that was like him but not him.
So he has.
But then after we're done here, does he not have that fulfilled? Do we not fulfill that for him? Would that be another reason to try to do another Earth?
I would think we would fulfill that for him, and there's going to be a lot of people in heaven. But, kind of like Cale said earlier, if he likes to share if he likes to share what he is, why wouldn't he just keep growing the population of heaven then? Because I'm pretty sure you won't be able to reproduce in heaven.
Well, there wasn't supposed to be death on Earth. Earth was supposed to be a sanctuary for people.
Yeah.
And because people sinned, he had to save them and then bring them to a place where there wasn't sin.
Train.
Alright, so what was something we talked about as sheets?
I would actually like to bring up how quite possibly the Earth isn't what what we're told it is or what we think it is. Like mainly how there still is I can't think of the word.
Firmament?
Yes. How I think there still is a firmament. What Antarctica actually is. You know, stuff like that.
This is a very pertinent thing with the recent shuttle launch to go to the moon.
I've already seen videos of people saying that you can see it when it goes up. It does not look like it keeps going straight. It looks like it goes up and just starts bending.
Well, let me address this question. Do you guys believe in a globe Earth? I think maybe we said this on last podcast, but I think or last episode, but I think it ties in well with this. But I'm led to believe we're on a flat Earth.
Very undecided.
With that, I could believe either. I'm not.
Yeah.
If it's a globe, okay. If it's flat, okay. My brain's open to it.
Yeah, and I leave the thought open to both. So I'm not going to say it's one either way, but I lean more towards flat Earth.
If it is flat, it's not perfectly flat. It's kind of domed.
I kind of like the dome idea more. Because it would like kind of have to be a dome.
Because there is curvature.
Obviously, there's proof of curvature.
You can't see just straight across the entire world. There's obviously curvature.
So I kind of buy into the dome. Plus, like, they've... Now, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if these videos are real, but, like, I've seen videos where they show, like, you shoot a missile straight up in the air, it goes up a certain amount of ways, and then it just starts bending.
So do you think that's it hitting the firmament?
I think that's it hitting the firmament.
And since it's bending, then it would have to be more of a...
like a dome.
Yeah.
What about the rotation of the Earth? Because if you're standing here and it's going straight up on this line, and then you start going like this, like falling away, it's going to look like it's curving.
Well, is there anywhere in the Bible that says the Earth rotates?
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
I'm playing
devil's advocate to that. There's not anywhere in the Bible that says the Earth rotates.
The only thing in the Bible that talks about the shape or anything of the Earth is it says the circle of the Earth.
Right, circle.
It doesn't say round, globe, ball.
Yeah,
it doesn't. Circle.
Yeah, it doesn't specify, so a circle could be.
It could be a ball. It could be flat. There's nothing definite in the Bible that says either way.
There are very old maps that show it being a circle. All of the surface area on the Earth fits into a circle. And I believe that we've never been to outer space. So I really don't think we've gotten high enough to actually see whether or not it's a globe or flat.
Well, if you think about it,
like all those satellite pictures could easily be faked.
The moon. If you're on the moon, because the moon is smaller than the Earth, if you're on the moon, the Earth is going to be bigger than a moon size to us. And all the pictures from the Apollo missions all show a moon-sized Earth from the moon.
That's proof enough right there.
And with this most recent one going up, I don't know what they're trying to prove with it. Or maybe they're just trying to find their way out of the firmament. But I really don't think that we've ever made it through. I don't think God has it set up so that we can make it through.
Have you ever heard the conspiracy about the Disney logo? Where the little Tinkerbell thing going up over the top is like the arch of the firmament of the Earth. And then the tower that actually breaks through it is the Tower of Babel.
No, that's a new one.
And then if you look at it, all the little squiggly marks in the Disney thing, you can find a 666 in it.
Well, of course you can.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that. But
See, I don't believe any, like, Earth is round, like, into space, whatever, all that. Because why would they tell you the truth? The world is run by such evil people. Why would they tell you the truth? If you believe any of this just blindly because they showed you a picture, why? There's such evil people running everything.
Because seeing is believing, Cale.
I think the reason that they claim the Earth is round, like a ball, like every other planet, if the Earth is flat and they claim it's round, it would be to disprove the fact that the Earth is special. Like, God made the Earth special, so the Earth being different from everything else is legitimate proof that God exists. And I think that's probably, if the Earth is actually flat, that would be the biggest reason that they would claim that.
So let's say the Earth is flat. Why hasn't anybody sailed off the side of it yet? Or walked off the side of it? Or anything off the side of it? Is it possible?
Well, like we were saying, if it is a dome, Antarctica would have to circle the entire perimeter of it.
Right, which is what...
And
Which is why nobody lets anyone go to Antarctica.
Here's a theory just popped into my head. Maybe they're claiming global warming, hoping that so there would be ice shelves around the entirety of the Earth, stopping us from falling off. And I would think maybe they're claiming global warming, and they're hoping that those ice caps and ice shelves melt.
So you're saying they're inducing global warming on purpose?
Yes.
So that they can get through the ice.
Yes.
That's an interesting thought.
Well, it's like I think I sent the map in our group chat earlier where we were surrounded, like, our Earth as we know it is surrounded by Antarctica, and then beyond that was more lands, like more Earth. It's an interesting thought.
Well, let me say this. If God created the Earth to be perfect and he didn't want anyone to die, the current Earth we have right now, regardless of if there was less water or not, the land area we have would not support all the people that would have been born from then till now.
Cale, what's the theory where all the Earth was... Pangea.
I don't care about Pangea. Pangea is this specific area if there is more Earth beyond Antarctica.
Oh, no,
What is
I
that
like
theory?
that point.
I'm just saying that...
Wait, run that back.
Go back and listen to the episode.
What he's trying to say is that there's more land area because...
We need room to expand.
If you keep populating the Earth, you're going to run out of room, so God obviously would make more room.
So here's a thought. Maybe they try to do like COVID and all these things because we're literally getting so filled up on this, and they can't figure out a way to get through Antarctica to get to the more lands.
You know how Elon's trying to get to Mars?
Yeah, they're trying to move people.
That would be the other part of the Earth in that case. Because obviously you can't get to Mars.
Maybe they know how to get to the other side, the other Earth, but they don't. Maybe they know how to get to the other Earth, but they don't want to take people like us. They only want to take elites.
There's that too. Yeah,
Maybe-
I can see that.
Maybe they know how to get through Antarctica. That is very,
But that's very,
very
like
possible.
that's
at this
very
point.
like the elites to
Yes,
do that.
because they
Yeah.
wouldn't. They don't care about
And-
us. We're numbers.
If you think about this too, if you think the elites as like ain't demons,
Yes.
then they know.
Speaking of
They. Yeah. Go ahead.
demons, you ever look at Adam Silver?
I try not to because
He's freaky, man.
Ugly.
I randomly saw a post and it was like the NBA is being ran by a demon. His eyes look so weird and dark. Here's one. Well, I don't want to
The
take. I'll
demons-
save this. I'll save this because I don't want to take away from what you're doing right now.
Control the elites, and they're trying to escape God because they're terrified.
Oh yeah.
And that's why they're trying to find these new lands to try and escape, because they are beyond horrified that they're going to get banished to hell.
Well, my
And they're
next
using top tier, quote unquote, humans to do that.
thing would be, well, how far back do we want to wander yet?
Well, so we all agree that demons are just Nephilim souls that were killed because the Bible says a certain amount were allowed to roam the earth.
Right, and I want to get there, but I want to wait till he gets back. So my question was, because we were talking about the population, was there more people on the earth in like Noah's time before the flood?
Well, how much time from creation to Noah was there?
We don't know. Do we know? I don't think we know.
Well, there's obviously genealogies that you can kind of pinpoint that exact distance. But at the same time, did they skip any generations in that?
You don't know.
You don't know.
See, I always wonder, between the time of the fall and creation, how long was that? And why wouldn't they have been repopulating the earth at that point?
That could have been
Maybe they were.
forever.
Yeah, maybe
Genuinely.
maybe they already had kids.
Well, they said Adam lived to be. Well, actually, here. They said Adam lived to be like 967 years old or something like that.
Yeah, but when did they start taking years? When it started to matter. After the fall.
Right, so how much time between creation and the fall was there?
Yeah. And who's to say they weren't having kids that whole time, populating the earth like they were told to do?
Well, that's the thing. Like, when God cursed Eve,
Pain in childbirth.
how would she have known what it was like to not have pain in childbirth? Why would that have been a curse if she wouldn't have had been enjoying that before?
Well, that is,
crazy to think about.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is weird to think about that there was ever a time that it wasn't painful.
You're
for
going to
them.
have pain in childbirth. Huh? What's that?
Exactly. Like, obviously the idea is in the future, but
Right, she had to have known that what childbirth was to know that there's pain coming.
I think
That's an interesting.
I
that's-
think for that to have actually have made sense that she would have had to have had kids already.
Yes.
Which
Okay.
would then again explain where the wives of the other.
When
People
Cain
came
had to
from.
leave, he went and just found them. Or something like that.
Exactly.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
It would make more sense that they would already be out there
Right.
than for one of Adam and Eve's kids after him would have been.
Yeah, I get you.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think of what the repercussions would be if there were more people that were alive before sin entered the world.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, me personally, I don't think that it would have been very long after they would have had kids, because they would have still had to have been the ones to do that, because nobody would have left the Garden of Eden because it was so perfect.
Right.
To bring us back to the amount of time between Adam and the flood. If they say Adam lived to be 967 years old, or roughly there about, when the waters covered the earth during the flood, Noah was 600 years old. So how much time between Adam's death and Noah was there? We're getting close to about the same amount of time as we are now. So the earth very well could have been populated like it is today.
See, and the thing we're talking about here is, though, that their kids would have had to have been not ejected, but like they couldn't live in the garden because Adam and Eve had to have been the ones. They were the ones that sinned.
Yeah, no humans were allowed back in the garden after they committed sin.
And there were angels put at every entrance, which isn't like saying too much of anything, but
Well, they were there with flaming swords. That's a pretty good do not enter sign.
It's just a thought. I mean,
no,
it's kind of what we're doing right now.
It is a
we're
good
just
thought, but my thought
playing
also
tennis.
is that no human has ever been born perfect, except Jesus,
and Adam and Eve.
but
See,
they weren't born.
right.
I'm
So
saying,
there
like,
is that point.
From
It's a good point.
yeah, that
Adam and Eve weren't perfect. They were innocent.
Which would
That's actually a good point because they had free will. They weren't perfect. They were allowed to mess up.
that is a good point. Huh? Well, that theory holds.
Yeah. So yeah, the Earth could have been more populated than it is now.
And they would have had the entire Earth.
Yeah. Because if you believe in Pangea,
which I do.
everything was connected, so they didn't have to cross water. And then when the flood happened, it split the Earth. It split what we know now as the Earth.
Would you like to take away on your next thought? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get to
I have
this.
to remember what it was.
So, a couple weeks ago, I saw the theory that Sasquatch or whatever was Cain just walking around in these national parks and stuff. Which is a good theory, but Tito quickly debunked it because he would have died in the flood. Which I guess is technically true.
That opens up a whole other question, though.
I don't know if we have time to get into that.
We got time, bro.
We got all night.
Dude, we could literally just pause, go get food, come back.
No, we couldn't because we keep talking. We can't do that to our listeners. The whole question it opens up then is there were giants on the earth. They defiled the earth. The flood came not only to get rid of humans' wickedness, but also to get rid of the giants. There's still giants in the earth today. They killed one a couple years ago. How did that how is that DNA still surviving? So, Man, this train keeps going by. So,
Give it a second.
yeah, well.
I hope the listeners can hear it.
Oh, they
It's not just
definitely
us. All right, so the question then is, did somehow a giant survive? And the only way something could survive like that is if you subscribe to a portal theory, and they just hopped in a portal and escaped, or was one of Noah's son's wives, did they have that DNA in them?
Well, I gotta approach the portal theory first. What is the portal?
I don't know what the portal would be. Portals are like, we can't see them. If they're real, I believe we can't see them.
But like, who created the portal? Like, where did the portal come from?
The portal, I don't know.
Would
That's
that
the
have been
thing.
Nephilim technology to transcend to a different dimension?
It would either be Nephilim technology or it would have been placed. Maybe it's either Nephilim technology or it's how God placed it there. Maybe for like angels traveling back and forth.
That would make sense. Yes.
Yeah, the angel travel would make sense.
The pyramids were their power source to get out.
Not a bad.
And the
not a bad thought.
Nephilims created a similar thing to what God had.
Yeah.
So they would use the power source of the pyramid to create a portal similar to what God had.
Which
They're-
it makes sense why they're all perfectly aligned in a certain.
With the stars and,
And
all that.
the flood was to judge mankind, not the fallen angels.
Yeah, but it was also to kind of get rid of them, wasn't it?
Tito, do you believe the Book of Enoch?
That's a fun noise.
Have you ever read the Book of Enoch?
I have looked at it. I have not done a full research on it, but I want to say yes, but my thing is it was removed from the Bible. So it doesn't pertain to life and godliness, which is the only thing that God said the Bible is there for. So it doesn't say that the Book of Enoch is not true. It just says that it doesn't necessarily pertain to our life and godliness. So, yes, I believe the Book of Enoch is most likely true. Whether it's 100% true or not, I'm not sure, but yes, I would lean more on the side of it is true.
It was removed by humans, though. It wasn't removed by God. It wasn't in order by God to remove it.
God wouldn't have let it be removed if it pertained to life and godliness.
That was my thought. If it was necessary for us
If it was
to live
necessary-
a godly life, he would have left it in. That's not saying it's not true.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
So I'm not
I
not
think-
saying that it shouldn't be in there. I'm just saying that if it was supposed to be in there, it would be there.
I think by reading it, though, you kind of understand what was going on back in those days. a little
Right.
better.
Well, you don't need to understand the past to be saved to go to heaven. That book has nothing to do with salvation.
Correct. Tito.
True.
Which is why it does not need to be in the Bible.
Yeah, I've had this conversation. That was my first thought on this with him.
So my take on the Book of Enoch is I never really understood how bad the world was and why there needed to be destruction and a flood until I read that, and I was like, dude, the days of Noah were insane.
Yeah, you think it's bad now? It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, like
We're
now,
not- we're
like
not there
now
yet.
is nothing compared to what was happening then. Like that is nuts.
Give it another like 500 years.
But it might be. It
Well,
seriously might be.
There's also a theory that people in the Middle Ages, like one of the popes, sped up time. So like
Aha! Saw that.
he moved up the year so that he could be the pope for the 1000th year, and it deleted like 300 years of time kind of.
and they went back and they destroyed it all. There's like coincidental fires that just destroyed whole cities.
But anyway, regardless, just because that this is the 2000 quote unquote year does not mean it's actually 2026. We could be in the 1700s.
It's very possible.
It's super possible.
I personally, the only Bible in the world that's like completely untouched, it's an Ethiopian Bible. It's nothing's ever been removed. Ethiopia wasn't under British control at the time when King James went through and made the Bible today. I would really like to get an Ethiopian Bible with everything that they pulled out of it and just read it.
Quick note on Ethiopia. Isn't that where they say the queen of the wherever came from to meet Solomon?
Yes.
The Queen of Sheba.
Yes.
Don't they say Sheba is Ethiopia? And that's how the Ethiopians came to be, I guess, follow a Jewish style religion.
I guess, yes.
I would say okay. It sounds possible.
Real quick, that's another thing I would love to see is that old temple.
Solomon's Temple.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh my word, I would. If I had a time machine, that's probably number 2 on my list of places.
Well,
to go.
imagine in the time of who's the guy that rebuilt the temple?
Nehemiah.
Yeah, and then in the time of Nehemiah, when they finished.
No, was it Nehemiah? He built the wall.
It was not Nehemiah.
It was. What's his name? Why is it escaping me? Guys, look up the books of the Bible.
Zerubbabel.
He was half of that, right? The other half was
Joshua.
no.
Who was it?
Are you sure it wasn't Nehemiah?
Nehemiah built the wall.
Ezra.
Ezra. Correct. Anyway, in the time of Ezra, when they finally finished rebuilding the temple, the people cheered that it was done because obviously they were excited. But it says also that the old people who had previously seen Solomon's temple were crying because it was horrible compared to Solomon's temple. And it was so much that they couldn't distinguish between the cheers and the cries.
Dude, Solomon's Temple was like an embarrassment of riches.
Who destroyed Solomon's temple?
Nebuchadnezzar came in here and said, "Give me that."
I mean, the entire thing was plated with gold.
Yeah. Was it cedar trees were like the pillars? Or?
Yeah.
It was all solid wood plated with gold. Like,
And-
the entire thing.
And cedars from over there are like redwoods.
Yeah.
I mean, that's big trees.
Sorry to get us off topic, but that was...
That's excellent.
I'd kind of like to swing back and talk about the pyramids a little bit. Like, when do we think
The pyramids.
in the timeline, okay, because we have the Tower of Babel in here too, when do we think the pyramids were constructed?
I think they were constructed by the Nephilim before the flood.
Okay, and
Actually,
because we have, as the timeline goes, the flood, the Tower of Babel, and like the fall and creation are kind of like the main blips on the radar, so to speak. So where in there were the pyramids at?
so my think is that God would not have allowed previous technology or remnants of it to have survived the flood. He wouldn't want any of that to have made it back. So my thought is, if the Nephilim did come back to Earth, that they tried to recreate it, but they couldn't figure it out. Which is why
And then just abandoned it.
which is why they abandoned the pyramids.
The Egyptians stumbled upon it and kind of just claimed it.
Alright, I can see that.
So you think the pyramids were after the flood?
I think it would have to be, because I don't think God would allow something that.
Right, he wanted absolute
He wanted-
defacing destruction.
And would they have survived Pangaea's shifting?
Possibly, if they were on a piece of ground that was like centered.
So do you think?
I don't know.
Do you think then there was an ice age after the flood?
Yeah.
Because
I
if
believe in that.
a lot of people say, a lot of the archaeologists or whatever say there was like water that ran through. You can see there was water that ran through the pyramids and stuff like that.
Well, there's water erosion on the pyramids.
Right. So where? From the ice age?
Maybe the pyramids were taller. And the flood knocked them down to that height.
Yeah,
No.
that would have.
They wouldn't be
That would
as
have
perfectly
affected.
symmetrical.
Yeah, it would have
That's a
affected
good
their
point.
perfection.
Guys, come on, I'm just playing tennis with you. I'm just throwing things.
No, I would say the
No,
ice.
that's a good thought.
I would say there was an ice age afterwards, and then as they built them up, and then the ice melted, it would have.
They were the steps to the Tower of Babel.
I like that, but no.
Guys, I'm just playing tennis with that. Throwing it out there.
So, along the Tower of Babel lines, you all know that language learning app called Babel?
Uh-huh.
It was very creative on their part. I heard the ads so many times, and then one day it just hit me, and I was like, oh, Babel.
That was my
I
first
know.
thought.
You want to believe that they only thought about Babel like, oh, we're just babbling along type
Yeah,
thing. But
it's not.
the more you think about it, the more you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like
But-
this.
That's why I go Duolingo.
But I don't think they're doing it in that sense. I think they're saying at that point, God mixed the languages. So here, we're going to help you understand the languages, and that's why they call it Babel. I don't think there's anything like evil behind what they're saying.
So when
I
he
don't know.
mixed the languages, do you think he mixed the skin colors?
No,
I think people were always different skin colors from the beginning.
Really?
Mhm.
I think it all depends on where you live too. Like, as much as we don't subscribe to an evolutionary creation. There is evolution in how people adapt.
So Marcus is probably gonna have to cut this. But it'd be just funny if Adam was white and then Eve was white, and all of a sudden, like Cain or Seth just comes out black. Wait a second.
It'd be
here.
weird.
Well, obviously they wouldn't be like terribly white. They would be.
Right, but it'd just
Rather
be funny, like all of a
pigmented,
sudden,
but
just like, whoa.
I think it just all depends on where you live.
Really? Where do you live?
I heard that.
Wait, you have gum
That was
over there?
disgusting.
Tito.
Always have.
So, what road were we about to go down when I said that we all agree that demons today are just Nephilim souls wandering the earth?
I don't know. You were going down some road, but I don't remember.
I don't remember what road I was going down. But do we all agree with that? Because it says that a certain amount of Nephilim souls were allowed to roam the earth, and the rest were chained up.
I would say that's probably a fair assessment.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
My question, if you allow me to change the subject again,
No.
All right, let's go.
I
kind of
think we can.
kind of similar, but when Jesus cast out the demons out of Legion,
Into the
and then
pigs.
into the pigs, they begged him to not cast them out into the deep. What is the deep?
The deep is I believe the deep is the area that separates the earth and heaven. The deep being the waters above us in the firmament.
Why would they be so scared of it?
Because
Once you go through, you can't come back. That's just one step closer to hell for them.
yeah.
That's fair.
I think that is one cool thing, if you can take out of all this Nephilim, demon, whatever. They are very powerful beings, what they are, but whenever they can come in contact with God or Jesus, they are beyond terrified. And that is one thing. It's cool that we believe in God and Jesus, and no matter how powerful those things may seem, we believe in something that they are literally so scared of that they cannot stand.
They're terrified.
Yeah,
they tremble.
Yes, they are so scared.
That's because they came. Well,
Because they know who made them.
They didn't. I know.
They know who made them, and they know who can get rid of them whenever he wants.
I guess, yeah. Because I was thinking.
Because they believe.
I was
they
thinking,
know.
like the Nephilim were the sons and daughters of angels and humans. So like that's not a
I guess.
godly creation. That wasn't supposed to happen.
I get mixed up with the Nephilim.
So I don't think that they
fallen
know
angels kind of deal.
who created them. I just think they know who has dominion and who has power over them. And I think they know that in the end they're not winning. And it like the question that always comes back to me is like, how does the devil not know? Like, how does he not see that in the end, ultimately, he's going to lose? Everything he's done, God has...
Because he wants to drag as many people with him.
He's a sore loser.
Yeah, my understanding was he already knows, and he's just taking as many people as he can with him.
If he can destroy people, that means he's destroying God's creation.
That's okay.
And that is a small
victory for him.
Small victory. Yeah, that's a small gain in his book.
I gotcha.
That's the way I understand it.
Well, that makes more sense because I've always looked at it as like, dude, you lost.
Just give up.
Yeah, literally, just give up. You lost. It's over. But he keeps trying. He keeps coming back, and he keeps trying. And he keeps trying. And he keeps trying. He knew Jesus was perfect, but he still tempted him in the desert.
Well, this is gonna sound really weird, but wouldn't you too? Wouldn't you try everything you could?
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you're the most worst.
If you're
Evil.
trying to buy yourself time, and you're trying to defeat God, yeah, but you can't defeat God.
Yeah, but don't you at least have to try?
Yeah, you have to.
I guess
try,
you
'cause
have.
That's your one chance.
I guess you have to try, but like, come on, Lucifer came from heaven. He knows God. He was with God in heaven, and he's still trying, even though he knows he can't win.
He's still plugging away at it.
Is Lucifer Satan? Have you ever read that?
Oh
part of
boy,
the
here we go.
scripture.
More brain twisters.
All right, let's hear it.
No, I'm just asking.
I've read it, I'm
Have
sure,
you-
but I might not have understood it the way you did.
Is there any context to say that he's Satan? That Lucifer is Satan?
Doesn't it say Lucifer was cast down from heaven, and he was turned into a snake?
No. It just says, "Oh, how thou art fallen, O Lucifer, son of the morning." I'm not entirely sure what the rest of that is, but
So who is Satan then?
His most beautiful angel.
like I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. But I'm just saying there's no context to that verse.
All right, I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna Google.
It's a valid theory. It absolutely is, because without context, then sure, you could say Satan's not Lucifer, but then it brings up, well, then who's Satan? Because we know Lucifer was the angel that got kicked out of heaven.
Like I said, I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'm just
Right, you're
I'm
throwing it out there, and I'm throwing it back at you like, well, in that case, stop. In that case, then would God allow like two ultimate evil beings?
I'm not saying yes, you're right. But and it makes perfect sense that God's most beautiful creation that fell would be his biggest rival, quote unquote.
Right, because as we understand it, Lucifer was trying to be God. So I think right there that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I'm just
there's no
picking
context.
out that verse.
So Isaiah 14:12 says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?" Many modern translations use morning star or shining one instead of the name Lucifer. Scholars interpret Isaiah 14 as a taunt against the human king of Babylon, using metaphorical language of a falling star rather than a direct description of a supernatural being. So
read the context surrounding it. Like start with a verse or two above it and read through the section.
Okay, so Isaiah 14:12.
Just to be clear, we're not saying that Satan doesn't exist. We're just saying that Lucifer is not exactly necessarily Satan, simply out of context purposes.
Alright, so I'll start in verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worm cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
To me, that doesn't say anything.
Well, where does...
Can you figure out who they're talking about in he? As in he, like the verse 10 said he or something.
Well, I want to know where the name Satan came from for Lucifer. I think that would be
Oh, here, I got you.
a start.
Lucifer is a Latin title, not in the original Hebrew or Greek, while Satan is a Hebrew title meaning adversary or accuser.
Or playing tennis.
That's an interesting thought.
It's very interesting.
So the entire time they're talking about the king of Babylon.
That's what it would say. That's what I saw.
So what I'm saying is maybe the king of Babylon at that point, his name. Not, I mean, if Lucifer just means adversary. I mean, it makes sense that it says I will ascend. It doesn't mean like ascend above the clouds. Like that is talking about a person on earth. That's not talking about someone that's in heaven trying to become God.
You raise a good point.
Lucifer's still not a good name, but
Yeah, don't name your children that now.
just waiting for Narv to talk.
I'm reading.
He's gathering information,
Yeah,
but he doesn't know how to. He wants to debunk this, but he can't.
I really do, but I don't.
He has no proof.
Ezekiel 28:12-18 is often seen as a description of a high-ranking angelic being who was in Eden but was cast out of the mountain of God due to pride and iniquity in his heart. Jesus tells disciples, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. And then in Revelation 12, 7 through 9, it depicts a war in heaven where Michael and his angels fight the dragon, Satan, who is then cast out onto the earth. So,
Are they saying that that verse in Ezekiel is a prophecy?
I think it's talking about in past tense, at least what
Why would they
typically.
Why would they be talking about? Why would that be?
I don't think it was a prophecy. I think it was...
Why would that be a double entendre for the person that's already there and talking about Lucifer and talking about Satan? Why would it mean two things? Why would it go? Why would it go from talking about the king of Babylon to talking about Satan? And
It's
then
a different
go right
passage.
It is a
It's
different
Isaiah and
passage.
then Ezekiel.
Isaiah was the one we were on before. Ezekiel then is talking about...
It
an
gives the
angelic
description of the angelic being made of instruments and then diamonds.
It says the high-ranking angelic being, the covering cherub, who is in Eden, but was cast out of the mountain of God due to pride and iniquity in his heart.
Well,
Which
what
would
I'm asking
Archangel.
is yes. What I'm asking is that Lucifer Satan.
There's no proof now that you said this.
I can't find anything that says he is, but I don't...
Okay.
Yes, no, no, yes. I mean,
Just one of those things that everyone just takes for granted and has never done research on, and I actually looked at it once and I was like, this doesn't mean anything. So
Yeah, there is no actual proof that says Satan is Lucifer. But then who is Satan? The Bible doesn't tell us.
I mean, obviously Satan is a fallen angel. The Bible says that.
And it says he took others with him when he came down, correct?
which is would be my
A third, I
argument is
believe.
why in
Yes.
the world would God let there be two ultimate evil beings?
We're not talking about two
No.
ultimate evil beings. We're talking
But-
about the king of Babylon in one, and then Satan. Because Lucifer doesn't equal an ultimate evil being. Lucifer would just be a description of a person.
Okay, so the king of Babylon. Babylon was a place. That's why there was a king of Babylon. So why then would the king of Babylon be Satan, but Lucifer is just Lucifer?
No, Lucifer's the king of Babylon.
Right.
Satan.
He's saying Lucifer was the name of the king of Babylon who had a big head and wanted to be ascend. To be the most high through the clouds.
Because to me, when it says, I will ascend above the clouds, that's telling me that this person is on earth. They're not in heaven having this pride.
So Lucifer was already cast down from heaven. He became king of Babylon, and then...
Maybe Lucifer is one of those people that Satan entered into, a form of Antichrist that tried to...
Now you're making sense.
Well, now that you say...
That makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah. But now that we're going to go type of Antichrist, I have to ask. Hitler was a type of Antichrist. So you believe Satan was in Hitler?
I mean, if he was a type of Antichrist, then yes, because Judas was also a type of Antichrist, and Satan entered into him.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
but not the ultimate.
But Satan is not the people he enters into.
Because you'd have to say, really, anytime there's a terrible atrocity against the Jews, it seems like there's a type of Antichrist. So Hitler tried to completely wipe out the Jews. So you'd think that would be a type of Antichrist. See, that's what I mean. The devil just keeps trying.
Exactly.
It didn't stop in the Bible. It's still happening now. Not that it would stop in the Bible, because the Bible... I got into an argument with somebody on social media about how the Bible doesn't apply... He was telling me the Bible does not apply to today. And the only argument he could come up with was in the Bible it talks about treating slaves and women in a way that we wouldn't treat them today. That applied to back then. That doesn't apply to now. But the Bible still applies. It's so hard to convince people.
You can't argue with people because the stuff that they come up with is such a stupid reason that there isn't an answer for it.
There really isn't, but you have to try.
You have to like take a step back from their question and be like, okay, so I see you're asking about the way we treat people, but the mindset behind the way you're treating people is addressed in the Bible. And that mindset still happens today. Does that make sense? Like, the exact thing that they're asking about isn't still happening, but the reason that exact thing is happening is still happening.
Yes.
So you have to address that, not the actual arguing point.
They don't want to see that. And it's very hard to open their minds to it and their hearts to it.
Yeah, you have to walk them backwards and be like, okay, so if you believe this, then you have to believe this, and then you have to believe this. And if this is that, then this is still happening. So this does apply to that.
Yeah, what you're saying makes perfect sense. It's just...
It takes a lot of work to be able to figure out how to go about that.
Yeah, in the Bible it talks about people having like hardened hearts against God and the Holy Spirit and Scripture. And you can really see it when you're trying to talk to somebody about stuff like that. You can see how they don't want to believe it.
Speaking of hardened hearts, in the Exodus story, God specifically, it says that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. Why would God do that? Why would God purposely make someone not be tender? I understand there's a perfect reason for it.
Well,
I'm just saying why.
Well, my thought would be to show how powerful that God is.
To actually exact all the plagues on Egypt.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you disobeyed me, this is what's going to happen to you.
Was he doing it for Israel's sake, or was he doing it for Egypt's sake?
Both.
Yeah, I would say both. Yeah, that's a good...
The children of Israel...
I mean, because you saw Israel rebel so many times.
Yeah, I think they needed to see how powerful God was.
I don't think that they would have... The way that their mindset changed in the wilderness, like, especially right before they tried to go in the first time, the way that their mindset was, I don't think they would have left Egypt if it wasn't for all those plagues.
No, they wouldn't have.
I think they were happy and content with... Even though they were enslaved, they were still had...
They had protection.
It even says in the Bible that they said that, was it better for us to stay in Egypt?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like, if they had that thought then, what... That thought was obviously happening before.
Yes.
Like, that was not just a new thought.
So the plagues were pretty much for the Israelites as much as it was punishment for the Egyptians.
It was the kicking the Israelites in the seat of their pants, getting them out of there.
Like a wake up call, like, hey, let's go.
Because he's got a reason for everything. Like, he needed them to get out of there so he could get them to the promised land.
And I could see that he was judging Egypt because that was a very evil society in itself.
I completely forgot about this. This is going to take us back to giants again. But it says giants were in the land.
In the land of Canaan, right?
Yeah.
So, like, even after the flood, there were still giants.
Yep.
And they were massive because it says they made the Israelites, they're like grasshoppers.
So yeah, it makes sense your point that one of Noah's kids had. Is that what you said? One of his kids had.
Well, I
giant
said
That's
in
the
'em?
traditional mindset on that.
Unless
Do you think though, because any of the giants you see now are like 8 foot, I guess, that the genes have been diluted down?
You would-
Because
you would think
if the giants were as big enough that they were like grasshoppers,
that's
there had to have been like very strong genes, like super strong.
well. Think of Goliath too. Where'd that dude come from?
Well, what was he, 10 foot?
Oh, he was a fighter too. Like all the people you see that are 8 foot plus have such short lifespans and are so frail and weak and fragile.
Right in
Like-
like modern times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all these people that are
Right. They could
quote
snap
unquote
an
freaks
ankle
of
and
nature.
die.
Yeah, Goliath was a fighter. He was built probably proportionately normal to being a regular human.
Yeah.
So, what happened? Where did they come from? He wasn't just a tall man. He was a
I
giant.
mean, where'd Goliath come from?
Yeah. He wasn't just a tall man.
Nephilim genes passed down, and then if the but
Right, but where did it come from?
it would have had to. Well, there's two theories. There's either a portal and the giants escaped through it, or one of Noah's son's wives had the genes in her. But you would think that God wouldn't allow the gene pool to be infected like that.
If God was judging humans, he wouldn't have. He shouldn't have. Like, that doesn't make sense. It would have had to have been Nephilim coming back, like what I was saying, coming back through a portal, and then they couldn't get back because obviously they couldn't replicate what was here before. So then they just did their best to destroy God's creation again.
And angels aren't actively falling from heaven still.
Well,
Maybe.
I don't think we can say they're not.
well,
There's not a right answer.
Because
well.
could they have just fallen to earth and then that's how they came back?
Well, I like
sent,
this.
I sent. It's like goes with that thing I sent the two of you today. Tito, you didn't hear this yet. So on Earth, there are like 200 craters where a meteor.
Oh, I know this. Yeah.
Yeah, straight down. And it matches the amount of fallen angels.
Mhm.
Well, in the last week, there have been a few more meteors that just came straight down.
Well, if you think about it, if we do have a firmament, there's not stuff falling out of the sky like that. There's not just going to be random debris, space debris falling out of the sky.
Right. There'd be a...
There's a
firmament.
protection.
Yeah.
There's a reason that we don't have more junk hitting us.
So you're saying there can't be?
No,
Or
I'm
you're
saying
it's
that it would
angels?
have to be an angel.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, something that can get through the firmament.
Right. Something that...
And falling at that rate of speed would create that level of crater.
Dude, the theory of a portal's so wild to me. But it makes sense.
We don't
Like,
understand anything about the spiritual realm.
no.
I think the portal would have to be, like, in the air. Like, up in the firmament.
And I get telling you, we can't see it. I think even if it was like somewhere down here, we still couldn't see it.
I think, yes, we can't see it. But I also think it would be hidden away somewhere so we can't randomly stumble into it.
Well, that too.
Like national parks.
Well, I don't know if there is an active portal to leave Earth.
What if you could access it through like psychedelic drugs?
I think that's highly possible.
I mean, there is a reason that
I think there's something about drugs
are
that
banned.
I think there's something about drugs that could take you possibly into the spiritual realm.
If not into it, at least be able to
On the edge.
see
Yeah.
into it.
And it's not something you want to mess with because it's not good spirits you're messing with there.
No, you don't want to get involved with that.
The good spirits are all, in my opinion, up in heaven, unless you happen to run into an angel, because the Bible says there's angels among us.
Would you even know if you ran into an angel? I don't think so.
No.
No, because it says they walk among us and they aren't known by us. Do you believe in guardian angels? The Bible doesn't explicitly say anything about guardian angels.
That's why I would lean towards no. I believe in God protecting you.
Because if you have a guardian angel,
That means that God isn't watching you 24/7 necessarily.
true, and it would mean like an angel can save you from dying. But if you're about to die, that's just your time. You're operating on God's schedule. An angel's not going to step in and change God's schedule.
I personally think that guardian angels are not a thing. But I also think that there are angels, for not using the word spirits. I think there are angels that watch over you. I think it could possibly be dead relatives that cared about you, that God allows them to keep an eye on your life. I believe that's a possibility.
Well, maybe in that sense, then maybe when sometimes you ever get like an overwhelming feeling thinking about, like, it just comes out of nowhere. Whatever you were thinking about prior, it had nothing to do with like Grammy or Grandpa or another loved one, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere it just hits you. Do you think maybe that has something to do with it?
I don't quite understand what you're saying. I'm sorry.
So you're saying in like he said, like the guardian angels are like our past loved ones?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? So instead of so you're saying when you feel that,
maybe that's just them being close, like they're watching over you.
That's an interesting thought.
Because for me, it's not. I could just be driving, and then
I actually
angry at the guy next to me, and then all of a sudden it's just Grandpa.
I actually like that thought, because when we were working over at Grammy's on Saturday, Mom was like, I can feel they're here. And I'm like, well, is that like a legit thing? Because to me, that's kind of that's like freaky to me. Because I always see that on like the negative spiritual side, like spiritual realm side. I never thought of it in the positive side, but you like saying like that theory, that could, yes, make sense. Like, yeah, it makes sense.
Well, I had never really thought about that until Tito just said it. With what your mom said, when I would hear somebody say that, to me, that would have just been, oh, she's in the house where they were all that time, so yes, she's going to feel them because they were here.
Their memories are there.
Yes. That's how I would have took that before you just said what you said. What you said opens up a whole other line of thinking. If it's true, nobody knows. But
maybe it's just them looking down from heaven at us at that specific point. Maybe they took time out of their time praising God to actually take a peek at us and be like, hey, look, that's my grandson down there.
It's possible.
I like that thought.
I think that's more likely than them actually being present.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I don't think God. I don't think you.
I don't think there's
I don't
a
think,
spirit that goes from there to here with us. Yeah, I don't think.
I don't
the
think
Lord
you'd
would
want to
allow
come
that.
back anyway.
No.
No. That
I mean-
makes a lot. That would fit better.
I
But-
think that makes more sense because obviously they can't be everywhere.
You know, that
is.
is you guys bring up a good point because I do randomly think about grandmom every now and again. And like you said, out of nowhere. It's
Yeah,
literally like that. And all of a sudden
There's
it's like,
nothing that brings it on. It's
right,
just-
there's no trigger. It's just there.
Yeah.
Real quick, this could be nothing, but when obviously Marcus and Pappy worked on the Roadrunner many times, I was there the day that it started.
Me too.
I forgot you were there. It was a clear day for the most part, and as soon as that thing started, a slight little shower came down, and then I don't know if it was Mom or Grammy said it, but she said tears from heaven. And it was obviously it's a very emotional moment because that's a car Pappy had been working on, and then Marcus had been, so it was a very emotional moment. So just seeing like a slight little shower come down on a clear day,
And then it stopped a little bit
Yeah.
afterwards.
and
I'm actually tearing up just from that.
that hit me in a weird way when I don't know if Mom said it, because I kind of dismissed it at first and like it was whatever. And the more I thought about it, I was like, could it?
I think there's little things that God does for us to allow us to
'Cause we-
remember our.
We have a spiritual connection with these people.
Yep.
Yes. That's crazy.
Yeah. No.
I never
it,
heard
it,
that before. That's so.
It was. It wasn't like a heavy rain either. It was just
No,
like
it was
kind
just
of
a little
sprinkling,
sprinkle, and
and then it was gone.
yeah,
And it never rained again
Like
that
right
day.
as it fired up.
yeah, like
That's.
Well, maybe a couple.
the
little
engine.
bit afterwards.
The
but
engine started. We were kind of hanging around. Marcus was just at the hood, and we were like looking there, and all of a sudden, you just slight shower started, little drips here and there.
maybe lasted a minute.
Yeah.
And then it was gone.
That's really cool.
I just thought I'd throw that out there because that's kind of what we were.
That's
Talking
exactly what we're
about.
talking about.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with that spiritual connection that we have with these people.
That's a good point because once they're gone, they're not gone. You're like in your heart.
Yes.
You're still connected to them.
Yeah. In your heart, in your brain.
Yeah.
The
Like your heart, as in like your soul, is what I'm
yeah,
saying.
I know. I was adding on brain like the mannerisms and the things that they said that you say and
I catch myself saying stuff that they say all the time.
oh yeah, I said something. I can't remember what it was now, but it was something Grammy would say all the time. I said it and I was like, I don't think I've ever said that before, but it just came out and then I was like, oh Grammy, and then Grandpa was such a huge role model in all of our lives. And just the things, there's just things I do where I'm like, oh, well, that was Grandpa. Yeah, learn that one from him. And I'm always extremely happy when those types of things happen because it's like you remember it and it's you miss them.
I notice I say stuff like Pappy whenever I think mostly when I talk to Reese, and I don't know why.
That's because he would talk to Buddy all the time like that.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait a minute, I remember Pappy saying that. Like that's
Yep. Man, I had a thought and I just completely forgot.
it's so funny how your grandfather like turns into your role model, like somebody so many years older than you.
Well-
Like you don't even think like you have anything in common with. And then it's like when he's gone, you're like, man,
because
I miss him. I
He's
get it.
good now. He's the patriarch. He's supposed to set the role model. He's supposed to set how you live.
He's everything that everyone in this family looked up to. So regardless of where you go in this family, in his family, everyone looked up to him. So he is, everyone after him is partly him.
He lived a godly life, and it just, I don't know, he was everything. He was everything.
He was the man.
So you don't realize growing up, especially when you have parents like, I worded that wrong. You have parents like ours that raised us the way that they did. You're always striving to be a better person, and Grandpa was that person. He was the one that you wanted to be like. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably just like the women in our family wanted to be like Grammy. I've never heard any of them talk about it, but I would assume if we all wanted to be like Grandpa, then they all wanted to be like Grammy.
I would assume so.
I will say there's a very small sample size of women beneath in the cousins for us
In the
at least.
Zigger clan.
Yeah. Yeah, we're predominantly male.
I think you always wanted to be like
There's
Pappy,
14
and you always
now.
wanted to make Grammy proud.
Well, I always wanted to make Grandpa proud.
Well, I
Dude.
understand that, but you never did.
You just be over there just like, all right, how can I impress him?
Well, no, you.
Dude, the best is when you knew you impressed him because
Yeah.
he had that smile. Like after I shot my first deer, or I guess my first deer at the property there, he was like giving me,
He'd always give you grief about it.
all right, he gave me grief like, you should have put a better shot on this. It wouldn't have ran up here, but dude, the smirk was there and I was like, all right.
Well,
I was like, I know.
You know, if that bantering wasn't there, there was something wrong.
did I ever tell you guys about the home run story with him?
Yes,
Yes.
but I'm sure we'd love to hear it again.
Well, I don't have to if you don't want to hear.
No.
Okay.
Please.
I frankly forget, so please.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So, obviously, we played Bethel baseball and all that, but it wasn't that serious, and I started playing Little League when I was 8. They would always come over to the house on Tuesdays, drop trash off. Trash day was Wednesday, so they'd sit there, and he would, how's baseball going? Oh, it's going good. I'd tell him, did you hit a home run? No. For years. 4 years, actually, to be exact, because I did not hit my first home run until I was 12. 4 years, it was, did you hit a home run? No. Did you hit a home run? No. Well, yeah, you ain't doing that good, are you? I seriously remember going around the bases, realizing I just hit a home run. I got to home plate, stepped on it, teammates were there. Great feeling. My mom was crying. Both of my parents gave me this huge hug because I wasn't a power hitter. A home run for me was massive. And then after that, my first thought was, because this was 4th of July, the day I hit it on, so I knew we were going to the picnic at you guys' house after, and I was going to see Grandpa. But my first thought was, I can't wait to tell him. We got there. I got out of the car. I had the baseball in my hand, walked up to it, put it in his hand, and I said, I hit a home run. And he's like, did you? Big smile on his face. He said, good job, Bo. Did you hit 2? It was never good enough for him, but that's what.
But it was. It just he didn't want you to know that.
Yeah, but
He always
it was,
wanted you to try harder.
It was also
Yes.
his way of pushing you forward.
Yes.
Then, and I think because I'm finding now that for me nothing's good enough. I always push to go further, and it annoys me when other people don't have that same mindset, and I'm starting to realize that's how my parents raised me. That's how Grandpa raised Mom and all of our moms. So that it's just instilled in me. I don't know. I don't even know what the point of that was. It's just
One of those things. Well, everyone is a little bit of their parent, and their parent's a little bit of their parent. So, if you think about it, you are a little bit of your farthest ancestor.
yeah. I mean,
Because everybody is a little bit of their parents.
if any of us turn into half the man he was, our family will be just fine. All right, you guys want to shut this down?
We should go get food.
I was going to
Yeah.
say.
Say,
Well,
before-
Seems like we
We're-
seems like we
can't
kind of hit
anymore.
the end here.
before I
That's a
start
good
crying,
spot.
let's
Yeah,
shut
we're-
it down.
Yeah,
We're not.
I'm already teary-eyed.
Well, thank you for listening.
If-
I don't have
Comment.
much to say.
Comment, let us know if you enjoyed this format, because we definitely did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please let us know if you enjoyed this format. Also, like the video, comment. Comments are huge.
Honestly,
Comments get us in the algorithm.
comment a story about your grandparents that you loved. Honestly, just share, keep the story going.
Comment purple or something as well.
Comment grandparent.
Yeah, there we go. Comment grandparent. Give us a story about your grandparents. And if you didn't know your grandparents, give us a story about your parents. Because I know you knew them. Hopefully.
Thanks for listening.
See
Yeah.
ya.
Shut
Have
it
a good
down.
weekend, guys.